All right, back to our story. Here is a look a few moments ago. Hunter Biden leaving the courtroom in Delaware, where he pleaded not guilty to a couple charges related to tax offenses. This was not the way he thought this day would end. He thought, Katrina, that he was going to be going to the microphones talking about a plea deal.
Yeah, instead, of course, just moments ago, we saw him do what you just saw there, make a beeline to his SUV. Clearly not what he expected, although, Randy, you mentioned that if his lawyers are as professional as we expect they are, they would have warned him this might not be smooth sailing today.
There's no question in my mind, because one of three things happen in a case like this. One, if you're an inexperienced attorney, then you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know to say to the government, listen, I want to make sure that the FARA charges and bribery charges and everything else, I have coverage for that. And there is a coverage provision in every plea agreement. This is what you won't be prosecuted for. Yeah. And then the last thing it says, this, if it ain't in this agreement, it doesn't count, and we don't bind anybody else.
Tom, what's going on right now? Tell me what's going on in the courtroom, in the judges' chambers. Are the lawyers freaking out right now, or are they half expected this was possible? What's going on? Give us behind the scenes.
Well, I have a slightly...
By the way, just to let people know, you've spent 35 years practicing law. Okay, and how many, 31 years?
35.
35, okay. Both of you know what's going on. You've either been in this position or you've been around.
Sure.
Yeah, I was going to say 34 years too long. I have a slightly different view on the judge, because when a judge, in my experience, asks for a briefing, and I think she says, show me where this has happened before, so that when she goes to make the decision, so when she writes her order, if they can't come up with the actual goods, like a case law that says this or a statute, whatever, that creates a position for her to say, if you can't say this is a good deal, or no other judge or appeals court has agreed this is a viable deal, then maybe I shouldn't either. So I think the fact that she has gone this far and then asked for this additional information, the Biden team's not out of the woods. Will they get there? Randy has more experience on there. I think they will ultimately get there, but if I'm their attorneys, I'm sweating a little bit here.
By the way, very quickly, a picture again of Mary Ellen Norica, the judge, a Trump appointee. But as we were talking in break, Tom was pointing out that, can we take a look at her once again? This is the judge with all this pressure on her in Delaware. And that is a Biden state, right? In any way, shape, or form. So you have two Democratic senators there who would have to have been on board for her.
Also, I mean, she did have bipartisan support for her appointment, and the support, again, of both Democrat home state senators, even though she was a Trump appointee. So we do want to put that out there, because I'm sure that on some other big media stations, you're going to hear, oh, she's a Trump appointee, so of course she did this. But if you get the actual facts, like we give you here on Newsmax, again, had the support of both Democrat state senators when she was appointed.
But a lot of people feel like she was the only one that wasn't kind of on Hunter's side. She was on the side of whatever justice should be served.
Just like a judge should be.
Exactly.
She's on the side of, this is not blowing up on
her watch.
My watch, because the truth of the matter, to your point, there really isn't a constitutional issue here. It's not an illegal plea, and Rule 11 is very clear. Judges do not get involved in plea negotiations. They're not even allowed to. However, the critical thing is, if the judge feels like you're taking away my power, I'm not going to accept it.
I'm not going to play that game.
There's nothing stopping her.
And I've been sent out of a courtroom many times by judge where the judge said, you two go out there and talk about it, and by the time you go back in here, I'm sure you're going to resolve this.
All right, we're going to leave it there, but now we do want to check in with our congressional correspondent, Kilmany Dukehart, who has the latest on this developing story. Kilmany.
Katrina, Bob, good to be with you. We've been following congressional reaction, and this was certainly the outcome that House Republicans had been hoping for. You have Jason Smith, the Republican chairman on the House Ways and Means Committee, filing that brief last night in federal court, saying that the plea agreement's been tainted by political interference. That, of course, follows the testimony that we heard from those two IRS whistleblowers here on Capitol Hill, saying that the potential charges levied against Hunter Biden would have landed any other American in jail, and that they were prevented from further investigating any leads with regards to the quote unquote big guy. And the judge was asked to consider that testimony in this case. Smith, a short time ago, reacting to the news again that all of this was paused and on hold, saying no one should be above the law, even if your last name is Biden. But here's how some other lawmakers are reading the tea leaves. You have Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri saying it's very telling that the judge intervened and did not agree to some sweeping blanket deal. He said that tells you that the court has serious concerns about these potential charges, and it signals that there's a potential for prosecution going forward. Speaking to Newsmax a short time ago, we also heard from Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville. Take a listen.
I think there's a lot of smoke out there. I think they want to get a plea deal as quick as possible because there's going to be more things coming that's going to be probably more detrimental than what they've seen so far.
And we've also heard from members on the House Oversight Committee, including Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, who tweeted, "Biden acted as an unregistered foreign agent. This is a crime among his many other crimes. Enough of the sweetheart deals. It's time to apply the law equally. Just because your daddy is the president doesn't mean you get off scot-free." And as a result of what has been uncovered, we know that Hunter Biden will not be immune from further prosecution. This is, of course, not a surprise for a lot of House investigators who have uncovered through various avenues that Hunter Biden is under investigation. Going back to that FBI FD 1023 document with the alleged bribery scheme of then Vice President Joe Biden, we know that the FBI didn't want to hand that over because they said it was part of an ongoing investigation, and that's clearly what came out in that courtroom today. This is what we also heard from Elise Stefanik, the third-ranking House Republican, about the impact of House GOP investigations.
This rigorous oversight has certainly rattled the White House, who suddenly has shifted its public position surrounding Joe Biden's knowledge and involvement in Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings. Accountability is here, and House Republicans will leave no stone unturned in our investigations of potential corruption at the highest levels.
And Bob and Katrina, remember, they're just getting started here. We are expected in August or September, to hear from the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, David Weiss, as well as a longtime friend and business associate of Hunter Biden's, Devin Archer, who will be testifying here on Capitol Hill next week, amid stunning comments that we heard from House Speaker Kevin McCarthy this week, saying that all of this is rising to the level of an impeachment inquiry, a vehicle that would enable House Republicans to further investigate this and learn more.
All right, Kilmeny, thank you. You know, nothing happens in Washington in the summer.